So the accumulation phase is really when you're working and you are saving money for when you're going to stop working. So that might be through several different tax wrappers, pensions, ISAs, etc. And then the decumulation stage is when you've got yourself in a position that you've got enough savings in different accounts where you can provide yourself an income to maintain your lifestyle once you've stopped working and receiving an income from employment. So the focus is often very much on the accumulation stage. So when you are actually working and saving enough money for pensions. Now that's really important that you're saving enough, but actually the science in what we do is in the decumulation phase, and that's when you can make the most costly mistakes. And by working with a financial planner during the decumulation phase, one, approaching the decumulation phase to make sure you've got a range of different options at retirement, and then also how you withdraw the level of income you require, because you might have several different sources of which to draw income from. And one of the things that we do primarily is to help clients avoid paying any unnecessary tax. When people retire, what I often see is that they will move money into what they deem as more cautious assets. So it might be cash or it might be bonds within their investments and their pensions. But actually, that's not necessarily the right thing to do, bearing in mind, if you're not buying an annuity, which a lot of people don't nowadays, but if you're not buying an annuity, then that money has got to stay invested. Potentially, you don't want to outlive your money. So because we don't know how long you're going to live, for most people, then we've got to assume that you might have 20, 30, 40 years of retirement, and that money needs to remain invested. So what they think is less risky can actually be more risky to their longer term wealth. One of the key things we do initially is look at pension death benefit nominations. So all of my clients will have their nominations for what happens to their pension upon their death set up correctly. And it's a really important point to give maximum flexibility to your beneficiaries, maybe your spouse or your children. And it can often be overlooked, and often there is no nomination there at all. And therefore the trustees will have the job of distributing the assets within the deceased pension fund, but you may restrict their options as to how they distribute it and how your beneficiaries receive it. So making sure the nomination forms are set correctly is a vital part of the planning, and something your financial planner should be helping with. Clients will spend a lot of time planning their retirement and exit from their employment. What I see is that they don't necessarily spend a lot of time focusing on what they're retiring into. So there's two fundamentals, I believe, for a successful retirement. One is to have enough money to sleep well at night, and secondly is to have enough reason to get up in the morning. And if you've got those two things well planned, then that can lead to a very successful and healthy retirement. So strange as it seems, one of the biggest challenges I often face with my role is helping people understand their capacity to spend in retirement. A major factor of that is when someone stops working, their income from employment stops. What I find is clients are much more comfortable spending income than they are capital. And there is a significant resistance to spending capital in retirement, even though you've spent your working life accumulating capital to spend in retirement. But there is a significant psychological barrier for a lot of people to be decumulating and be consciously reducing the value of their savings pots because they've spent their whole working life building up their savings pots. We also have to be mindful that you will have different retirement spending phases. So most people will spend more money in their earlier parts of retirement in their active lifestyle phase. And so having a plan and working with a planner to to build a financial plan so you can recognize and be comfortable with spending more of your capital in the healthy, active retirement phase, in the knowledge that actually if you do go on to live a fairly long life, then your spending may well reduce the older you get. So once you get past 80, 85, you probably won't want to be traveling around the world and visiting, getting things off your bucket list, as you may have done when you had your health and you were slightly younger. Regular reviews within your retirement or your decumulation lifestyle phase are vitally important. The main reasons for that is because I can provide you a map in the form of a financial plan, which will help you visually see the longevity of your money and make sure that you're not going to outlive your money with the lifestyle that you've committed to. However, we need to be mindful as well that I always say it's a bit like weeding your garden. We can de-weed your garden, but the problem is that you need to keep on top of those weeds, otherwise they are going to come back. And the things that can bring the weeds back in this sense will be changes in legislation, changes in taxation, and changes in your own personal circumstances as well, predominantly health or children's needs, etc. So because we don't know what those things are going to be in the future, keeping on top of those and at least visiting this financial plan as an absolute minimum of once a year is vital for the effectiveness and efficiency of your retirement planning. It's vitally important because if I said to you that you could afford to spend X amount per year, then that's all very well, but without seeing it and being able to contextualize that, it can be a really difficult concept and number to grasp. However, we can bring that to life. So it's a bit like me saying to you, or you need to go from A to B without giving you a map. If I gave you a map, then you could visualize that journey and it would be much more easier for you to relate to if you have an ongoing map to guide you throughout that journey. And that's effectively what cash flow planning can do. It gives you the map. We don't know what the weather's going to be like, so there are going to be interchangeable things, which is the important thing of reviewing it. But we give you the map so you can read the map and you can see the map and you can see ahead at what's coming down the track and what we're planning for. And then it can give the clients the confidence to spend within a certain budget that we've agreed, which will commit to them never running out of money.